Alright guys, so if you watched my last video on the Trisha Paytas and Moses situation, then you probably know about some of the serious allegations that have been made against Moses. And if you're not aware of the allegations made against him, make sure you go check out that video. I don't really want to go through it all again because it's pretty gross, some of the stuff he was doing. And in that video, I also talked a little bit about how Ethan and Trisha have been handling these allegations and how I was expecting them to be handling the situation a lot better than they currently are, especially since they spent the last 9 months or so trying to stick up for every victim and believe every victim that comes out against a YouTuber and try to expose the truth and make more people aware of situations. And their mentality's basically been like, there's no excuses, and once you screwed up once, we're just never going to stop coming after you. And even once you address the issue and apologize for it and your fans have accepted the apology, still not good enough for these two. You got to keep going until the whole world's aware of it. So if they've had such a strong stance on the subject and been so passionate about it, you would think that once they heard Moses was preying on young fans of theirs and using his influence to try to get with them and possibly essaying them, you'd think that they'd want to make their fans who are potential victims of this guy more aware of the situation. And when it comes to Trisha, you should probably stop platforming him, and with Ethan, he should probably say he regrets platforming him. But so far, we haven't gotten anything even close to this. And with Trisha, obviously this is a terrible look for her. Like, her fans want answers and they want her to speak about this. But honestly, did anyone really expect her to condemn Moses' behavior and cut him off or whatever? Like, obviously that'd be the right thing to do, but there's no way she'd actually do that. And her response has basically been like a couple TikToks telling people to mind their own business, which is just fucking hilarious. And then also like a music video she put out. So I would sit here and criticize Trisha for this situation and talk about how she's a liar and a hypocrite and an enabler and like she only cares about herself. But these are things that I think everyone watching this video will agree with at this point. And she's too predictable. Like, I think she will eventually address the Moses stuff, but once they're broken up and then she can like just claim she's the victim of all this and she didn't really know what was going on or something, or she didn't believe it. So I'd rather talk about how H3 and his fans and other people on the internet have been handling all this and what I think they're going to do moving forward. So on YouTube, from what I've seen, most of these tea channels and like Def Noodles and people like that really haven't talked that much about what Moses has done. And if they have, they pretty much just said it's Trisha's responsibility, because obviously Trisha's the easiest target here and anybody can make a video criticizing her. And also these channels have trouble coming up with original ideas or opinions. Like, look at the titles of these 5 different tea channels. Trisha Paytas responds to Moses cheating, Trisha Paytas leaves Moses cheating drama, Trisha Paytas addresses Moses cheating rumors, Trisha Paytas fake relationship cheating, Trisha Paytas speaks out about Moses cheating. They all have the same exact titles, and I'm sure they all have the same exact take on all this drama. And the title of my last Trisha Paytas video probably wasn't the best. It was like Trisha Paytas and Moses have the most toxic relationship ever, or something like that. But if you watched it, I brought up the cheating allegations like for 5 seconds, I think. I like barely even mentioned it, if I did mention it. And I just think it's so funny now that all these channels are just focused on him cheating on her. Like, no one really wants to talk that much about the SA allegations. And if they do bring up the SA allegations, they wouldn't dare to mention Ethan in the same breath as them. But I'm sure these channels have hours and hours of content covering David Dobrik's allegations, and I'm sure they criticized him heavily because they probably feel like he let this really traumatic event happen on his watch, basically. And I'm sure they feel like he should have addressed it sooner and made more people aware of it and like condemned his friend's actions. But now that they figure out that H3's brother-in-law, who was on the H3 podcast multiple times, like, you can't say he's not associated with H3. He's his brother-in-law, and also H3 platformed him many times. And now all of a sudden these T channels are acting like it's too much to cover SA allegations, or if they do want to cover them, they think the best way to handle it is to make Trisha responsible for it, basically. Like, whenever they talk about how Moses has done something bad, it's like Trisha is the only person associated with him. Like, there's no mention of H3 at all, because they wouldn't dare upset Ethan Klein, and it's way too much to ask for Ethan just to make his audience aware of all the stuff going on and let him know that his brother-in-law could be potentially preying on them. That's way too much to ask from him. Instead, we're going to rely on the chick who has no credibility and no one believes anymore and has been lying to everyone for years and is just a giant hypocrite. Yeah, we really all expect her to do the right thing in this situation. So now let's move on to how H3 and his fans have been handling all this. Their method has basically been like, let's not talk about this at all. This isn't our business. Trisha and Moses have nothing to do with H3 right now. Like, they're completely cut off. And Ethan's handling everything behind the scenes. And his fans are basically gaslighting people into thinking that there'd be no reason for Ethan to bring up the allegations. So now I want to check out this post from H3's subreddit that I'm actually really surprised didn't just get removed right away, because this fan is actually calling out H3 for not addressing the Moses situation. They basically said they're disappointed in him and they feel like they can't even watch him anymore. And they said that they feel like H3 doesn't really care about the victims in the David Dobrik case, and they feel like he was only talking about that to get views and to make money, which I've been saying all along, but now it's more obvious than ever, and there's even proof of it, basically. And the first comment on this Reddit post says, "Whoa, I never knew about this. What did he do?" So this post already did a good job. They're making more people aware of the situation, which I feel like would be the right thing to do here. And honestly, if I had to guess, I'd say most H3 fans don't know anything about this. So is it really a good idea to leave everyone in the dark work when it comes to this Moses situation. I guess some of Ethan's hardcore fans who are on his subreddit all the time think so. They think it's the right move to try to stop people who are trying to make people aware of the fact that Moses could be preying on H3 fans. They are making whatever excuse they can to make people who are talking about this subject look bad. Like, look at this comment that's on the post that I just read. This person said, Jesus Christ, stop getting so involved in the drama. Either enjoy the show or don't watch it. Stop acting like a teenager, unless you are a teenager. Trust me, get off the internet, go do something. You'll thank yourself in 10 years. Which, I mean, Jesus, this guy is so confused. Like, what do you even watch H3 for? Like, it's basically a drama channel. I mean, H3 spent the last, like, 9 months talking about David Dobrik and getting into his business as much as possible. Like, what do you think about that? The amount of time that Ethan spent talking about David Dobrik, I'd say, like, is easily over 100 hours. Like, no question about it. Like, here, I'll put all the videos he has up of David Dobrik. Like, I'll let him just play in the background. There are so many of them. Like, is the person that commented this even an H3 fan? Like, I'm starting to think it's probably not. But it doesn't matter because this post got 3 upvotes, and then the person who posted the original post commented, like, a pretty well thought out comment, and that makes sense, and they got 3 downvotes for it. Like, the mental gymnastics going on here by H3 fans to make this seem like it's not a big deal, or like no one cares if Ethan talks about it, or it's not his place to address it, is just fucking amazing. Like, for his fans to say don't get involved in the drama after that's all Ethan's done the past few years, and that's one of the main reasons people watch him, and that's why he clickbaits David Dobrik and James Charles so much. Like, how do H3 fans think that this is a good excuse? Like, they're almost like bullying you. They're like, hey, you got to spend less time on the internet. Like, why do you care about all this drama? Get a life. This is exactly what happens when people become too obsessed with a celebrity or like a public figure. They'll make up any bullshit excuse to make sure that the celebrity that they like doesn't look bad. Even if you are a big fan of somebody, I feel like you should be able to look at things like more objectively and be like, yeah, they're probably in the wrong in this situation, or like they should be handling things differently. And if you're someone watching this and you're like, yeah, I'm over the drama, like with Trisha and Ethan, like I'm over it all, why the hell did you even click on this video then? And it's a classic move. People are all about the drama. They love talking about drama until it's about themselves or it's something they should address. Then it's like, yeah, I'm not really into the drama anymore. I think this is just something we should move past. And another tactic they're using here is they're just saying that this involves Trisha and H3's done with Trisha. Like, nobody wants him talking about her anymore. Like, that's an old subject. Like, everyone's just excommunicating her now. But again, that's not the case. 6 hours ago, H3 uploaded a clip titled The Unaired Trisha Paytas Clip. So you're not done with her. You're still talking about her. You're still putting her name in titles. Like, you still have her in the thumbnail. Like, I guess she's blocked out. I guess that's his way of saying that we're done with her, but it's just such bullshit. So if we're all done with the Trisha drama, why is H3 posting a video about her? Like, why is H3 even talking about her at all? So I don't want to hear that H3's moved past Trisha and he's done talking about her or whatever. Like, he would not upload this video if he was completely done with her, because he knows obviously that this is going to start more drama with her and she's going to respond to it. Like, I think they even admitted that. So I mean, how could you agree that they're done with the Trisha drama if this is the shit that they're still doing? So let's get back to some of the comments on this post on his subreddit. And first of all, I just want to say, not every H3 fan has like this terrible take on the situation. Some people are like actually sticking up for the victims and being like, yeah, H3 should talk about this stuff. Like, this is crazy that he's not talking about this. So I do respect that there are some H3 fans out there that stick to what they believe in, but then there's fans like this. So this person commented on the same post that I read from earlier, and they said, y'all better make goddamn sure that if you ever find out that one of your close family members are SAers, that you would yell it out to the world and condemn them immediately. And I do understand that if it's your family member, like, obviously it's hard to talk about and it's not something you want to talk about. But again, if you think H3 handled the David Dobrik situation so well and you believe in the stuff he was saying about David Dobrik, you would 100% agree that this needs to be addressed, because the guy who did the essay in David Dobrik's situation was David Dobrik's best friend. So obviously it's going to be difficult for him to come out and talk about it. And also, David Dobrik did come out and talk about it. He addressed it. He gave an apology. Like, his fans accepted it. They thought it was good. Like, he was crying and shit. But H3 and most of his fans didn't accept it, and they still feel like it's necessary to go after him. Even so much so that Ethan said a stalker did a good job because he followed David Dobrik and tried confronting him about everything.
I appreciate that, bro, but you don't know the details of things.
Nah, bro, I don't look up to you anymore, dude. Fuck yeah, look at her smiling.
You can't.
And everything about Trisha just ended up being true, bro.
There's a time and place for everything, bro.
Oh, he's lobbying for him to go on the H3 podcast. Yeah, that will never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job though. I mean, that's kind of, it's just an interesting insight.
So if you feel like it's necessary for a stalker to go up to a guy to confront him about some SA allegations that aren't even against him, like they're against his friend, and they've already been addressed and pretty much everyone's aware of it at this point, but you don't think it's necessary for someone to make their audience aware of the fact that their brother-in-law, who they've platformed many times, could be potentially out there preying on their fans and using his influence to get with them and even possibly SAing them. And if you think that that's something that could be handled behind closed doors and it's none of our business now, then you're confused and you obviously don't stand by what you believe in. Like, look at this clip of H3 right here. This is after David Dobrik's addressed everything. Like, this is months after all the drama. Like, everyone's aware of it. Like, it's like, what more do you want from the guy?
I wish David would actually talk about it, because he says there's a time and place. So that presumes that there is a time and place where he's planning on talking about this. I'd like to know when that is.
He made that one video where he kind of like alluded to it, and in his mind, that's probably
that was the time.
That was how he addressed it, you know.
Like, this is ridiculous. David Dobrik made an apology video, but these two don't like it, so I guess it's not good enough. I guess we gotta stay on his case now, you know? We gotta stick up for all those victims. Yeah, that's what we're here for, you know? Like, how does anyone believe that bullshit? It's so ridiculous. Like, it's so obvious he's doing this because this is what people want to hear from him. He knows to get some views. He knows he can use David Dobrik as clickbait, and he gets to look like a good guy here. People believe he's doing the right thing. And also, you can tell that Ethan's pissed that David Dobrik never really acknowledged him, and the fact that David Dobrik's still a big YouTuber. It almost seems like Ethan wants David Dobrik to apologize like directly to him or something. It's just so weird what's going on here. Like, Ethan, if you don't think David Dobrik acknowledged the situation the way you liked it, or you don't accept his apology, when the hell are you gonna acknowledge your situation? It's so ridiculous. Like, you sound like a fucking goofball. And I hate sticking up for David Dobrik because I never liked David Dobrik. Like, I feel like I hated him before it was cool to hate on him. Like, before everyone started hating him because of H3, like, I hated him way before that. And then once H3 jumped on, I'm like, oh god, am I really gonna have to take H3's side on this? And I did for a little, but then of course he took it way too far, like he always does. Like, I think you should be able to call people out and criticize people, but like, when you get to a point where you're like, they need to do whatever I say, or I'll try my best to make sure they don't have a career, and I'll continually go after them for like every little thing that they do, and I'll condone stalkers approaching them to get them to try to address things, you've gone way too far and you're only doing more harm than good. And then when the time comes to prove that you're genuine on the stance that you took in those situations, and you don't come through and you don't protect your fans from a guy who could be potentially preying on them, who you've platformed, it just makes it way too obvious that you never really cared about these situations that much, and you're just doing it because you knew it'd get you money and views. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, you expect such a high standard from Ethan, he's only human. Like, you really expect him to talk about this? This is his brother-in-law. Like, this is so close to him. Like, it's gonna be hard for him. But Ethan's the one who basically set the standard here. Like, he doesn't care what's going on in anyone's personal life. He doesn't care if it's David Dobrik's best friend who did this. Like, he expects him to talk about it. He expects him to like make sure everyone's aware of it. Like, he's the one who set the standard here. All right, so I'm sure you guys get the idea at this point. H3 and his fans, they do not want anybody talking about this. If you bring it up in their subreddit, you're probably going to get downvoted. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to say you're just seeking drama, and they're going to tell you that this has nothing to do with H3. It's a dirty game they're playing. They're pretty much just saying like, hey, we're just going to hide this. Nobody needs to know about it. It's all taken care of. Don't worry, we got it all settled. The David Dobrik thing, he can't take care of that stuff behind the scenes. He needs to do it in the public. We want to all hear from him. We need to criticize him. But H3, we all know him. He's a good person. You know, he can handle this stuff. Why does he need to tell his fans? His fans don't need to be made aware of this. This has nothing to do with them. It's just crazy, and it doesn't really seem like Ethan's going to talk about it anytime soon. Like, at the end of my last video, I said I expected him to talk about it like within the next few days, but I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Like, I don't think he's going to talk about it. But I don't know. He could prove me wrong and show that he's actually a guy who stands by what he believes in, and he's not just some YouTube grifter who talks about stuff because he knows it's going to get him views and make him more money. But I don't know. I feel like he'll still do the right thing. Like, is it really that hard for him to call out Moses? Like, they already hate each other. Like, I think Ethan hates Moses, and even Eli, I'm sure, hates Moses at this point. Like, it seems like they're all done with him. Like, why is it so hard to call him out and make your fans aware of something that they should definitely be aware of? So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. So thanks for watching the video. If you made it this far, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of all this. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you at the next video.